Hi everybody, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this interview. Yeah, Kristie Ord. I've been waiting for this one for a while now. The truth is I haven't actually asked her until just now. But I've been intending to bring her to you for a while now. Hi Beth. So we're just waiting for her to come on. I'm just going to hi Roxy, say hello to everybody, and I'll just shoot her a note saying I'm on. Super excited. Sarah, Nadia, hi everybody. Oh my gosh, this woman, she's the reason we're all here. Like really, her and her husband created this whole thing, and it's pretty incredible that we get a chance to hear from her and hear her story. How do you possibly, it's like life. Hi Michelle. How do you possibly run a business like this that is so hugely successful with a new baby? It's like, dang. I'm excited to hear from her and just share some value and some knowledge with all of you, because those of you who know my story, hi Elena, those of you who know my story know that I really didn't know anything about this online space 6 months ago. And hi Jenny. So welcome to everybody that's jumping on. I know we're gonna have a big group today because this woman is like fire. She's wanted in all areas in terms of her knowledge and her she's so grounded and loving and fun, and you'll see for yourself. So I never know if I should tag somebody on it or if I should just wait. Hi, Betty. So you just have to be patient for me. Sometimes we just have to wait. We have to wait sometimes. I'm gonna have a drink of my drink here. What can I tell you? What do I want to tell you? I really want you to hear the story from her. Hi, Maka. I want you to hear her story on how she did this. There she is. Bring them on camera. Yay.
Comes. Adding. Hi, Mia. Glad you're here. Oh, there you are. Let me turn the volume down. Have you got headphones, honey?
All right.
Yeah.
This should work well.
Yeah. Hi,
In the
Kristie.
light. Hi, how are you?
Hi. Oh, I'm so good. I'm so happy you're here.
Yay.
So grateful for your time.
You're
I
welcome.
I was like, what do I say about you? There's so much to say, but I thought I would. I've been talking about you, about just like, I think the question. We're just gonna dive right in. I like to just dive right in.
Okay. I love it.
From a mom's perspective, right? Almost my whole demographic is really moms. Like my vision is to empower moms to step into the life that they want. And here you are, this incredible new mom, right? New mom of a little boy. And you have created this massive online space and completely changed your life with a new baby, which is pretty unfathomable to most mothers because we're all just fucking getting
Doing
by,
our best.
Exactly.
Totally.
Doing our best. So my first question is, because my audience doesn't know you other than what I've told them, will you tell us a little bit about your backstory and kind of how you got here to start?
Sure, I'd love to. Thank you so much, and thanks for having me on. It's so awesome to be here.
Yeah.
And I love that technology allows us to do a live stream where you're in the US and I'm in Australia, and it feels like we're sitting next to each other. So
it's so special. Yeah.
Yeah. So for everybody that doesn't know me that's jumping on, I'll just let you know a little bit about my backstory so you can actually understand who I am, where I've come from, and why I'm actually here talking about online movements and online businesses and all that kind of stuff. So I live in the beautiful Gold Coast in Australia, and I'm 30 years old. I'm like, how old am I?
I never know
not
either.
31.
I'm always
I'm 30. And I guess I've been on a very big journey over the last, since I was really 22. At 22, I was a very, very, young, new person in the corporate world. I just finished 5 years at university, studying business actually, and had this amazing job that people call amazing. Earning $60,000 a year, and I thought, okay,
Woo.
cool, and that was like at a managerial level,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like. I was thinking, okay, I'm earning great money. Like, this is awesome. I went to university for this epic position and all of this. And then like about 8 or 10 months into that journey, I was like, I can't stand this. Like, I'm going to work 9 to 5 and I was so restricted, and I love to travel. I actually went over and lived in Scotland when I was 17 I just turned 18, and I lived over there for just over a year. And so I had this travel bug, and then fast forward a couple of years, I'm in this like corporate environment in this office, and I worked by myself in an office, right? I didn't have other people around me or anything, and I was like, oh, this is terrible, like this is not what I signed up for. And so I remember I was like scrolling Facebook one day at work, as you do, and
who else is guilty?
Yeah,
right?
Guilty. Totally. And I got I came across this thing online. I clicked on it, and it was this guy that was Australian, and he was in Hawaii, and he was earning about $20,000 plus on the internet per month. And he was actually he didn't have any stock, he didn't have anything. He was actually selling other people's. He was like marketing other people's products and services. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. And I'm like, okay, well, what is he doing? Like, how is he doing this? And then I guess like how the universe kind of lines up when you start to get on the right path, right? I came across a book called The 4-Hour Workweek from Tim Ferriss.
Yeah.
And I read that book, and then I read it again, and then I read it again, and I was like, oh my God.
Such a good book. Yeah,
it's
right?
the best, right?
Yeah.
Like, it just totally shifts our mindset of like what's actually possible and how we actually get to live and earn. And so once I read that, I was like, oh, okay, how on earth can I possibly live in a different way? Like, how can I possibly keep going to work for someone else and living in this corporate environment, which I hated, and then thinking that I was going to be doing that until I was like 60 or 65, and then I could retire and have 4 weeks holiday a year. I was like, it's just not possible now that I know this information. And I feel like when we receive information that inspires us and that lights us up, and we start to question what if, like for me, I was like, well, I can't now go back. Like, I have to keep moving forward and keep investigating this and keep seeing like what this other world is all about. And I started to find out that there was all these digital nomads and digital entrepreneurs that were living all across the world in cool places like Bali and Thailand and, San Diego, and like, just really living the dream. Hawaii, like literally with just a laptop and a smartphone. And I'm like, okay, this is what, like, I need to be doing this. These people are living my dream life. Yeah. So just went on this huge quest, like, kind of 22-year-old having this like early 20s crisis, like broke up with my boyfriend, sold all of my stuff, quit my job with no savings, just like totally changed everything, lost like 14 or 16 kilos or something, and just like went on this crazy journey of figuring out who I was and what I actually wanted to do and what my gifts were and what I could actually bring to the world. And, for 7 or 8 years, I did all these different businesses. I was like, I was just like winging it totally, but I was trying all these different hats on, right? I was like, cool, I'm going to have an eBay store. And I tried that, and I lost $10,000 online. And then, I had a raw food cafe, which I totally manifested the money for. I did not have the money, and I literally manifested like $3,000 to set it up. And it all kind of fell into place. But anyway, I won't go into that now. But basically, had a raw food cafe for a period of time. Ended up having really bad adrenal fatigue, a nervous breakdown. Was financially really struggling. Ended up living out of my car. Couldn't afford to pay rent anywhere. So all my belongings, everything was in my car, and I like literally lived out of my car, and then would stay on people's couches every now and then. And all sorts of different things. I then went on and did like a coaching course, and I started doing some health events. And so I've done I've done multiple different things, like any type of like business field. I feel like I've tried it, right? Yeah. And yet I was still always in the same position. So no matter what I was trying, I was still always in this position of being dead broke, and yet having all of these dreams and having all of these visions and all of these things that I wanted to bring to life. but not having the right vehicle, not having the right skill set, not having the right offer. You know, like for instance, I tried a couple of years ago, I was doing like network marketing and selling supplements. And I thought, oh, this is going to be like my ticket to freedom. And, you know, and I would always like, you know, pull up my Facebook and ask all my friends to come to these like launch parties, and then, you know, have to get them to buy like supplements on auto ship and all these things. And so, you know, I knew that there was all these different ways to actually create some type of freedom, but I guess none of these like vehicles or models or ways of doing business actually fit. Like, for some reason, it just didn't work out. It's probably like me sabotaging as well. But I just didn't feel like any of those models, like having a cafe, having a network marketing business, doing coaching, like none of them actually, like I felt was going to provide me the type of freedom that I was actually looking for. And when I got really clear on what my perfect day was, so if you're watching this, like this is something that really supported me, was to actually get super, super clear. What does my perfect day actually look like? And I had never gotten clear on that before. I just kept saying, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to set up all these businesses. I'm going to create freedom. But I was never actually very specifically clear on what that would look like.
Yeah.
And when I got clear on that, you know, I got clear that I wanted to live on the beach in Burleigh. I got clear that I wanted to wake up next to my soulmate husband every day and ask, like, what do we want to do today? I got clear that at any time I wanted to book a spontaneous trip to, say, Bali or Fiji or whatever, that I have the resources available to do so, and not at a budget level, at a 5-star level. I got clear, like, you know, I had this whole list of the time, you know, that I wanted to make a huge impact to thousands of people's lives globally and have like a global movement and a global community, right? I got clear on all of this. I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to be able to attract and manifest anything that I desire until I actually get clear on what on earth I want to attract.
Right.
So when I got clear on that, I feel like things started to shift a little bit. And then I found out I was pregnant, and, you know, we were still really broke, but at least I had this like perfect day that I was like, okay, cool, I'm clear on this now. Like, this is what I want to attract, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. And then I got pregnant, and we were in this situation where, you know, like still, you know, trying to figure out what business model we were going to do. Still trying to figure out, are we going to be doing coaching? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? Like, we just had to do something. We definitely did not want to work for anyone else. And it definitely had to be online so that we could have the flexibility. And then when I had this child on the way, I was like, well, like, this is crunch time. Like, I have to get my shit together, because I did not want to bring up a child in an environment that where we, you know, we're struggling, or we were my partner at the time, now husband, we were always fighting about money. You know, we were always fighting about how we're going to pay rent and all of this stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to bring up a child in that environment. So I actually said to my partner at the time, I said, babe, you're going to have to go and get a job. And he was like, no way. Like, that was like, he was like, absolutely not, I'm not doing it. Give me 90 days, right? He was like, give me 90 days. And then we kind of were like almost like praying or like asking the universe or whatever it is. Like, we were just like, show us something that can support us to create the dream life and to create the life that we're here to live, that we know deep within us that we are so here to live. And that's when we actually started to come across all these like 20-year-olds and, you know, 25-year-olds that had never done anything online, that were like living their mining careers and making like $20,000 plus, $40,000 plus on the internet per month. And I'm like, what are these guys doing?
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, like, this has been put in front of my eyes for a reason. Yeah. Like, I need to know what they're doing. And they were leveraging an education platform that supported you to understand the skill set and also understand the right offers to actually go and market into the marketplace. And so they were basically being able to do this through the use of social media. And these were people that like had never even turned on, you know, computers. Some of them were like mining guys that literally didn't even know how to use Facebook or anything, that were having these results. And I was like, okay, like, this is incredible. So I actually watched a webinar. I got started on the trial of the platform, and I dug deep into the skill sets, into the education. I started to learn about this online space, how it really works. You know, I'd spent a lot of money and invested a lot of money before that on different mentorship programs, and I felt that this had like superseded anything that I'd ever done before. And I was like, this makes sense. Like, this is like the easy way to understand like how all these marketing funnels come together, how to actually have a product, how to actually have an offer, like what offers to look for, and, you know, high ticket items and all these types of things. And so I dug in, and within a couple of months, like, we changed our entire life. Like, we went from the people that were broke, that were literally like, you know, how are we going to eat today, to, you know, creating an incredibly successful business. You know, in the last 2 years, we've been able to travel. We spent 8 months overseas last year traveling 5-star business class. You know, we go everywhere business class now. Like, we've been able to, you know, wake up and do the spontaneous trips. Like, literally, like, twice last year, we woke up and once I was like, hey, do you want to go to Bali in a couple of days? And then another time, a couple of months later, I was like, do you want to go to Fiji? And, like, you know, just booking these types of things just spontaneously. We've been able to go to amazing, like, my husband and I, we always go to different retreats across the world now. We go to many different events, because we're constantly committed to up-leveling our skills and evolving, you know, our skill set. And we're also, you know, committed to being in the environments of the right people, right? You know, I really feel that your inner circle is really everything. And, you know, we've just been able to do things that, you know, we had our dream wedding last year. We had a 6-figure wedding where I was able to go, you know what, like, get that, and
get
and
what
do
you
that.
want.
And yes, like,
yes,
totally, right? Like, saying yes to life, like, literally saying yes to whatever it is, you know. And even at the moment, even with you, Brooke, like, your, you know, your speciality outside of, you know, this online space and with parenting and stuff, like, I'm actually going through a lot of stuff with my child at the moment. And, you know, you're going to be supporting us over the next you know, 6 weeks. And for us to be able to invest into that, like, I was so grateful last night, even thinking of that, going, you know, this is actually a really big deal to be able to invest in something like this, because not a lot of people would be able to do that, right? Like, not a lot of people would see that as, like, that, you know, like, as something that they have available, even though it's so important. It's not like something that people would constantly be like, have available to be able to do that. And I'm like, I'm so grateful I'm able to, in a time of need like this with my child and just the stuff that's going on with him at the moment, that I'm actually able to have someone to really support us and be able to invest into that. So, you know, you know, and I said before about our perfect day, I wrote down, I want to live by the beach in Burleigh, and I literally live, like, if I showed you the, just outside, I live on the beach in Burleigh.
I saw it, yeah.
So,
well, Sarah pointed it out to me. Yeah, it's so amazing.
Right. Yeah.
I remember when we were there, she's like, that's where Kristie Clint lives. So amazing, so inspiring. Now, so what do you think, you know, for people that are watching this that don't have any idea, you know, really what we do still, because the truth is, it's like, if you're not in the world of affiliate marketing or understanding what the digital world is, you're really just kind of clueless. You don't, like, I didn't know squat about this 6 months ago.
Totally.
But I'm curious, like, for people that are watching that have no idea about this, what would you say is different about this than anything else?
So there's really 2 things that you need when it comes to online space, and you need to have the right skill set and you need to have the right offer. So you literally cannot become a 6-figure, 7-figure entrepreneur online if you don't have the right skill set or the right offer. And so what I really feel when it comes to this platform is that we incorporate all the things. It's not just the education. It's not just the offer. It's not just, you know, like, how to put your own program together or anything like that. It really encompasses everything that you require in order to become a successful online marketer and, you know, digital freelance marketer, affiliate marketer, whatever you want to call it, but really supporting you to actually understand and take away a lot of that confusion and a lot of that setting up and a lot of the stuff that we would have to go and do in the online space, and basically being able to automate a large portion of that. So, you know, really with our platform, we have something where it teaches you the ins and outs of, like, Facebook ads, of copywriting, of how to get traffic, of how to get eyeballs on your offer, on how to, you know, basically do everything, you know, Facebook, Instagram, how to grow organic leads, all of that. So it encompasses all of that. It also encompasses the mindset. So that's also really important, is that, yes, okay, we need to have the right offer, we need to have the right skill set, but if we're not vibing at a frequency or a mindset of, like, a 6 or 7-figure earner, and that's our goal, then we need to understand how to become that person. We need to understand how to embody that person and how to show up as that person and how to change our thinking so that, you know, when things, you know, challenges come up or, you know, things happen in our life or in our business, that we actually understand how we can grow from those things rather than being in, like, a victim or blame space. We also need to have an awesome relationship with money, and that's not just a money mindset. It's also a relationship. You know, money is a form of energy. It's a frequency. It's a vibration. And so if we are speaking about money in a negative way and we're saying things like, I can't afford this, or, you know, I'll never be able to do that, or, you know, I'd love to do that, but I never could because of money, or we're saying money's the root of all evil, or whatever it is. It's like, that's going to be your relationship with money until you decide to change that. And so even within our platform, we really support people to understand about, you know, how to cultivate an awesome relationship, juicy relationship with money. How to actually also manage your finances, because it's one thing to then have a great relationship with money, but it's another thing then to actually understand, how do you manage your finances? How do you invest? How do you actually take the money that is coming in? Because we've got quite a number of successful people that are earning far more than what they ever have done in their life, but then they're like, well, how do I actually manage this money? Like, what do I do with it? How do I reinvest? Those types of things. So, you know, we've also got that involved, and then we've also got an incredible community, and a community of people that, you know, as I said before, the 5 people you hang around are the most important, because their energy, the way they're showing up in the world is going to have a direct reflection and a energetic response on you. And I always find, if I'm around people that are, you know, it doesn't matter how much money they have, but if they're positive and they're going for their dreams, and you know, they're really doing what they want to be able to do in the world, and they don't have limitations or anything like that, they're also really authentic. And it doesn't mean that they have to always be riding on cloud 9. It's like, yeah, cool, we all have stuff that comes up, right? But when I'm around people like that are truly real and authentic, and, you know, just really committed to living their best life, like, that rubs off on me. I'm like, yeah, like I come out of those conversations on a high. Whereas if I'm around people that are like a bit negative, or in victim or blame, or, you know, nothing's working for me or whatever, then I'm like, that rubs off on me. So having a community of people that are, you know, are going for what they want, are asking for what they want in their life, and are committed to growth, and committed to soul evolution, and committed to knowing that this isn't just like about, you know, getting to a destination. Like, they're committed to the journey long term, right? That is like a tribe and a movement is everything. It's one of our like core human needs, is to belong and to be a part of something that's, you know, that's bigger than ourselves, with people that we really vibe with. And so when you ask me the question of what's different, like, I just feel that what we have encompasses pretty much everything you need in order to build you as a successful person, you know, because success doesn't actually necessarily mean it's what's in your bank account. It's what's going on internally, and who you are, and what you've cultivated as a person. And, you know, once you build the inner you, then you're going to find that money flows easier, and abundance flows easier, and all these things. So it's actually like putting what is all the pieces of the puzzle. You know, if we look at all the pieces of the puzzle to actually build someone as a successful online marketer, a successful online person, and then also a successful person in terms of finances and investing, and, you know, growing that area, then it's everything together. And so, you know, that's what I really feel. And I've never seen anything like it. Sometimes you get one thing, like you might join a community, you might join a networking group. Okay, cool. You've got a community, but it doesn't mean then you've got the right skill set, or, you know, your money mindset, or any of that, plus, you know, offers and all of that. But what if you have an ecosystem that allows you to build all of it? So cheers to that.
I'm covered. Cheers to that. I've got chills. Because not because it's cold in here, but because you know, when I saw this community of people, and this is the incredible thing to me, was it was 2 parts. It was the interpersonal work. Like, I loved, you know, I've also been a part of many different things, but when I saw that you and Clint, yes, I was like, wait, did I say his name wrong? Clint. Where I was calling you both. Well, I won't. It doesn't matter. I'm on 4th day of fruit fast. So.
Love it.
I had this whole laughing fit last night with like mixing up your names. It was hysterical. I was just cracking myself up.
I love it.
But anyway, sidetrack. When I saw that, you know, 80%, when I learned from both of you that 80% of this business in particular was about the internal work and 20% was about the system, I was like, oh my gosh, like it's the first time I've ever seen that, because there's so many other companies that talk about mindset, and they might give you a book, or they might tell you to read, you know, go listen to something, but really like Put your earphones back in.
you guys all hearing that static?
I think you're the only one that would hear it.
Really?
Okay, we're back. It's
Woo!
all good.
I was like, okay, thank you. But this deep, deep interpersonal work and understanding that we can't be the same person that we were before. And so, coming back to this theme of motherhood in terms of like what moms do, right? What we do, we give and we give and we give and we give and we give, often to the expense of ourselves, right? So often where these moms are just like depleted and exhausted and don't even know. And I want to know, like, I'm so curious, what was your, like, for the people that are watching this that are thinking, gosh, there's just no way that I could take on one more thing. With the moms that, my community is most of us are homeschoolers or world schoolers and unschoolers. And so we don't put our kids in school for 40 hours a week. Most of us, we have this different life, different choices, but even the ones that do, it's like they're working full-time jobs. So when you're looking at somebody who has a desire, right? A desire to step forward into something new, but they're on this precipice of going, God damn it, I don't know how I could possibly take on one more thing. And how am I going to figure this out? What would you say to somebody like that?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think mums are superhumans. Seriously.
Yes,
Like,
yes, agreed.
I mean, it's the best job in the world, and it requires so much of us, right? It really does. And so I just always have like total respect for all mamas out there just doing their thing and doing the best that you can possibly do. Always. And sometimes it's really tiring, and there's times you don't want to do anything else, and you're like, oh, like I just need some extra support or whatever. Like it's, I totally get it. But what I often say to mums especially is like, and this is where the perspective that I had, and whether people believe the same thing or not, but the perspective I had is that I was willing to put in a little bit more at the start. So when I had a baby and when I had all of that, I was willing to put in the hours that I could and do what I could in order to then free up my time for potentially the rest of my life. And so that was what was true in our case. When we first had a baby, it was pretty crazy. There was a lot going on. Our business was growing, and, we had this fresh baby. We were fresh parents. We didn't know what to do, all of these types of things. But what I found is like, I found the pockets of time where potentially I was wasting in other areas, like there was times where I would just be like scrolling Facebook mindlessly, and I'm like, okay, well, that's a distraction that I could get rid of. Right. Like, or not, in my case, I don't really watch Netflix or TV, but I know that there's other mums out there who that is like something that they would do. And so I really feel like it's like, what do you actually want? Because we can stay in that space of like being the mum that's burnt out and being the mum that's, got no time and all that. We could stay in that for the rest of our life, really, until our children leave home. Easy. Or we can go, you know what, like, potentially what I could do is actually put in some extra time, some extra energy, make sure I'm looking after myself still and nurturing myself and making sure I'm going out for a walk and doing what I can and making sure my vibe's right and all of that. But putting in some extra time in those early years or, for that first year or whatever, so that you can build a digital asset that's actually working for you. Because when you actually build a digital asset that's working for you, what it means is that you can literally like automate things where you literally are out and about playing with your kids at the beach and there is money coming into your bank account, right? And we hear about these stories, but sometimes we don't actually really connect to if that's actually possible for us. And like in our community, everyday people, everyday mums, this is the reality. Yes, it takes some setting up. Yes, it takes learning some skill sets. Yes, it takes, some doing some things that you might not have done before, but because of the ability of, some of the automation within the platform and some of the things being taken care of for you and all of these types of things, you've got to come in and actually learn like this portion. And if you can dedicate some of those hours and dedicate some of that time at the start, it's like, I can't remember what entrepreneur it is, but they say, be willing to invest what a portion of what it is so that you can free up the rest of your time for the rest of your life. And like, I really feel that's true. Like now, like I really don't work that much. I have a team that works, like I have, some VAs that work for me. I have a team that work for me. I'm really free. And that means that I get to have, time with my child and whenever I want and take him away on weekends and do all these wonderful things. But that wouldn't have been the case if 18 months ago or 2 years ago, I didn't actually decide to do those things. What would have been our reality if we stayed in that space was we probably would both be working right now for somebody else, so we wouldn't see our child anyway. The child would be in childcare with, you know, all these other kids and somebody looking after him. You know, that would have been our reality. We wouldn't have been earning much money to be able to do stuff outside of all of that. And so it's like, it's making a choice of like, well, how do you actually want to live your life? And are you prepared to put in a little bit extra at the start, whilst, you know, still making sure you're looking after you and having that boundary and discernment and power and your own, you know, stepping in and activating that. But putting in that little extra bit at the start so that you can start to free up your time, free up your money, bring your husband home and do all these wonderful things. And, you know, there has been times over the last 18 months I've been tired and exhausted and burnt out and all of that and had to take a little bit of step back and recharge and all of that. But, you know, it's been totally worth it. It's been so worth, you know, setting up our lives so that we don't have to worry about putting our child in childcare, you know, like we're looking at homeschooling as well. We want to have that flexibility to do so. And that wouldn't have been possible if we didn't have a digital asset that we've been able to build that works for us while we, like, people sometimes can't fathom the fact that, like, we earn what we earn and, like, we don't actually have to be sitting at a computer 8 hours a day and doing that. Right?
I know people say, oh, I don't want to be attached to my computer or my phone all day. And I'm like, wow, you know, it's such an old paradigm of like, you have to work for your money, like time trading, right? Time trading your money. And that's huge. And how long, for the people that don't know you who are watching, how long is it taking you to build this?
So we've been doing this for 2 years, and what we did was we put a solid 90 days. We went all in, all out for 90 days. And by that, I mean, like, you know, like I've read this so many times in different personal development books that 90 days can literally change your life. I heard this like eight years ago, you know, and I was like, 90 days, that's like a pretty short amount of time. But we did this thing about 2 years ago where we were like, okay, for 90 days, we are 100% all in. And so every single day we would read The Magic. Every single day we would, and if for those that don't know about The Magic, it's a gratitude book. And when you become more grateful for things, and it's not just about like, oh, I'm grateful for this and grateful for that. There's an actual process that you go through every day. That raises your vibration, your frequency, and vibration is your highest form of wealth. Vibration is our currency, right? So when our vibration's on point, this is where things flow so much easier. When we are vibing lower, then we're going to be like burnt out, struggling, all of that kind of stuff. Whereas if we're vibing high, then we've got energy and things like are actually being attracted to us much easier. So, you know, we did the magic every day. We would journal every day. So we would journal, you know, what we were calling into our life, what we were stepping into, all of these types of things. We would make sure that we would go down to the beach every morning and ground ourselves and call in what we were desiring and asking for that day. We would write out, you know, pages of I love money and money loves me. I love money and money loves me. I love money and money loves me. Like, we just wrote pages of that. So we were getting ourselves into a really great space around our mindset, our money, what we were calling in, all of these types of things. And, you know, and we were very diligent with what we were doing in our business. So we were really focusing on income producing activities. So new leads, new content, you know, just basically looking at what were the basics that could bring us in results. And that's what we committed to. And then we were very committed to like tracking our money. And so understanding how many sales were coming in online, etc. And within 90 days, we completely changed our entire life. Our entire, every single part of our life completely switched around. And, you know, by the end of the 90 days, I think we had like over 6 figures in our bank account. We had, you know, like all this, like, and at the start of that 90 days, we literally were like staying in our friend's house, eating like her packet of pasta with tomato, like not even a nice tomato sauce. I like a 30-cent bottle of tomato paste.
Like
tomato paste.
Store.
Tomato paste and pasta is not great, right? So that was like
not
huge.
Great.
So I mean,
that's amazing. Yeah.
You know, it's been a continual thing we built, but the real magic that came with the rest of this ripple effect globally was based off a 90-day sprint in our life of like, we're all in, there's nothing stopping us. We stopped going to coffee meetings with people. You know, I used to say yes to coffee meetings with friends all the time. We just stopped everything that was a distraction, and we were like, that's all going. We are laser focused, and we're 100% all in for 90 days. And it just it shifted our entire life.
Amazing. Amazing. So inspiring. Oh my gosh. I could talk to you all day, but I want to honor your time. Um, can I ask you one last question, then we'll wrap it up? What would you say is, so your life has totally changed 2 years from where you are to where you're at now. And in terms of, you've spoken about the spiritual journey, the wealth, your relationships, your circle of friends, all leading a giant business. I mean, you've got what, over 4,000 people in your company? Yep. And so I'm curious, what would you say, if you can distill it, what would you say is has had the single biggest impact on you out of those different areas?
Oh my God, there's so many. There's
Right?
so many.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so
Yeah.
hard to, because what I love about what we do is that it really like fits the equation, right? It's like you
Mm,
need to have, the skill set, you need to have the offer, you need to have the right mindset,
yeah.
you need to have the right support community around you, the right
Yeah.
mentors, etc. And so I feel like we have like this beautiful equation of everything to allow us to be successful. But the one thing I guess that really supported me was definitely like the magic that was done in that 90-day sprint. So
Mm. Oh, you froze for a second. Is she frozen to you guys or just to me? Let's see. Yeah, it's been, oh, yep, she fell off. Let's see if she comes back for a minute to wrap it up. But holy moly, right? Like, this is the thing. We can absolutely change our lives. We can absolutely make a massive decision, go all in, and friggin' change our lives. It's like there's nothing more empowering than a decision. And the fact that we are given everything. I just feel I'm just like oozing with gratitude right now for this tribe of community, this tribe that I'm a part of. Kristie's mentorship and Serena's mentorship, Elena, Alana, like there's just so many unbelievable, heart sent, incredible people. Gosh. Ah. So I'm gonna wrap up with a big thank you to you, Kristie. Some internet connection. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time. Please share this, tag this with anybody that you think is ready for massive change. It's like it's time, it is time for us to have the abundance that we deserve so that we can step up into our lives and contribute in all the ways that we want to. That's what it's about for me. This is not about me. This is about massive, massive impact in the world. And when you have a collective group of people who are coming together that want the same things, like look out. There's just nothing more powerful than that. And I just feel eternally grateful. So for anybody wanting to learn more, feel free to reach out to me and I'll get you more information and share, tag, hit replay if you're catching the replay. Thank you, Kristie, so much for your time. Hi, Kimberly. I'm just wrapping up. Kristie just jumped off. So big love to you all. Thank you for tuning in and definitely catch the replay. This had like so much gold and value in it. So big love to you all. Go after your dreams. The time is now. Like the time is now, to make this change. So I love you all. Bye.